Well, this is an excellent question, and I too have been very, very concerned about the impact of the Citizens United case. I personally think that it was a flawed decision and unfortunately has injected way too much control of and influence of corporations into the electoral process. And because of that, our caucus, even though that was a federal decision and it was a federal matter in that respect, our caucus has been very much concerned about its impact on a state level. So we've decided that one of the things that we can try to do to make sure that citizens know who is trying to influence a decision, or influence an election, I should say, is to promote transparency in the election process as being one of our caucus priorities. For example, in 2010, we rolled out what we called our Open Gov legislative package to improve public access to state government information. And as part of that, we felt like it would be important for corporations that receive state tax incentives for creating jobs that they actually be held up to that obligation to account for the jobs that they have created. If they don't materialize, if the corporations don't hold up their end of the promise, then it's our belief that we should try to recapture those benefits that have been given to the corporation. Another initiative which we brought forth, I think before any other caucus, was to require the Indiana Economic Development Corporation to publish these performance data so that people could actually see the number of jobs purportedly created by these jobs that have received benefits from the state. We've also, as far as the election process goes, again, focused on what we think is how can the donations that are made by corporations and really all persons, how can there be as much information available to the public in that regards? We had a Senate resolution that would have commissioned a 2-year study of how other states control campaign finances to limit the influence of big money and influencing the outcome of elections. And finally, we've also, in terms of hopefully instilling a fairness and competition into the process, we have for a long time as a caucus championed the idea that instead of there being the redistricting process controlled by the legislature itself, which leads to these gerrymandered type of districts, that instead we create an independent redistricting commission, which hopefully can take so much of the political influence in the redistricting process out of that process. So, ultimately, we feel transparency is about your involvement in state government. So we, of course, as always, encourage you to actively communicate with your elected officials and keep current on the issues that impact your community.